What is your favorite thing about Islam?
Favorite thing. I think, and this would be so contradictory to so many Westerners out there, but I think actually the extreme honor and respect given to women. I see this as being very different from the other religions. I was raised in Christianity. I was raised Mormon, actually. Um, and, women are very subordinate in Christianity in general, but certainly within Mormonism. And I grew up thinking that, I was nothing if not in like partnership with a man, um, or, under the jurisdiction of my father. And then eventually, my husband. There's sort of this hierarchy, where it's like, Jesus, peace be upon him, and then clergy, and then men, and then their wives, right? And it's like that's who you submit to. So there's all these intermediaries, right? Well, there's no intermediaries in Islam, and so there's this equality between genders that I just don't think exists in other religions. And I think that would be my favorite part. And our history of really strong women who have done phenomenal things, and we're starting to do phenomenal things starting in the 7th century with the rights that they were given. And some of these rights women in the West didn't have until the 20th century, right? Um, like rights to own property, and rights to teach publicly or speak publicly, or the first university was established by a Muslim woman. So education for women also within Islam has always been of utmost importance. So yeah, I would say that's my favorite part.
Hmm. I think people also misunderstand the concept of responsibility of the man in
Yes.
Islam,
Yes.
uh, because they do put man like one rank above woman, but not in terms of how equal they are as humans, but responsibility. And I think sometimes people take equality and responsibility as equality in value, which is incorrect, right? They're equal in
Yes.
value, but the man has a rank because he has more responsibility. Like, for example, I love the concept that Muslim women can have all their money and their husband still has to pay for everything, right?
Right.
It's like, to me, if anything, that seems like inequality in this direction. But it's like
Or
there's a beauty in that. And so I agree with you
yeah, because the leadership. There's a duty in that, and yes, it's a respect for women ultimately, but it's like, yeah, no, you have more responsibility. It's more stacked on your shoulders. You have more at stake, right? Women get to be a little bit more relaxed, and should have that support because men are supposed to be so supportive of women. It was fascinating to me to find that Muslim women could literally charge money for breastfeeding their child. Like they could expect financial compensation for that from their husbands, right? I was like, that's amazing, because to me it said, the world may not appreciate this, men in general may not appreciate this, but Allah sees what you're doing, right? And yeah, this whole concept of like, my money is my money, his money is also my money. um, yeah, like the men do have more responsibility, and that is something I think a lot of Muslim men unfortunately lose sight of
on that.
and see it more as like a power dynamic.
Yeah. I would also say, and we have extremes on all sides. We do have
Mhm.
extremes on the other side too of certain groups of women who try to take advantage of
Sure.
that aspect too, where then they go, okay, well, now I won't do anything for you. And then we get into a whole nother problem is where we get back to rules and where people make Islam the set of rules. Well, the marriage rules say I only have to do this and I don't love you, so I won't do anything past what the marriage rule says. It's like, that's
Right.
not what was intended.
Well, we have to return to like what Allah said about spouses. Like, what's the purpose of a marriage, and how what's your role, you know, towards your husband or towards your wife? I mean, you're supposed to be garments for each other. You're supposed to be comfort. You're supposed to be tranquility. You're supposed to be peace and mercy. Um, so you can't necessarily be a source of tranquility if you're being obstinate and refusing to refusing to help out.